Gear Profile, Episode 1. We all have our favourites, be it a game, an artist, a food, a musical instrument. We all have that one favourite, one that you consider running into a burning building to save, your number one. In my case, my number one ukulele is this Pono ETC PC. It's been with me for 7 years, and to start a new series called Gear Profile, I thought for the first episode was only fitting to take a look and a listen at my favourite ukulele. These gear profile videos are going to shine a spotlight on the gear that I have, from ukuleles to guitars to amps and pedals. We're going to be looking at each piece of gear in more detail than I have covered in my other videos. I'll be telling the stories behind these instruments, why they speak to me, and of course, I'll play them for you. And with that, we're going to take a look at the story of this Pono. Before we get started with the story of this ukulele, it's probably worth doing a prologue of sorts. It was 2016, I was 19 years old, and at the time my main ukuleles were concert electrodes in the form of Carla or my Boulder Creek Riptide. At the time I could never justify spending over £200 on a ukulele. How wrong I was. I'd been aware of the Pono brand due to Barry Maz of Got a Ukulele fame. We jammed together on Sundays with his club at the time, and he had a Pono MTD, the Mahogany Tenor Deluxe. That year I visited the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain in Cheltenham. I did a performance of 20 minutes for no pay or accommodation, and I remember sleeping overnight in my car in a deer farm. I remember getting dressed as the deer looked on perplexed. At this festival was a stall by Omega Music, whatever. The spiritual predecessor to Matt Warnes' World of Uke store. While I was in the middle of trying ukuleles that I was certain I could never afford, I picked up what was labelled a Pono Pro Classic. It was one of the most stunning instruments I'd ever played. While the price label didn't say much besides Pono Pro Classic, I've since deduced it was the MTSHC PC, the mahogany slot head tenor ukulele as part of their Pro Classic series. What spoke to me about this ukulele was the punch it had, but also the warmth in the lower mid-range. As a soloist, looking to fill out the frequency spectrum and to play and make the ukulele sound as bassy as possible, this was exactly what I had in mind. The ukulele just felt full, which is not something I'd really experienced on my concert ukes to that point. I owe a lot of the sound to the thin cedar top, which has become my favourite tone wood, which I have on most of my instruments. But alas, it was £700 and I was but a uni student, so I could never spare that kind of money for just a ukulele. In 2017 and the first half of 2018, I really started building up my reputation as a musician in the uke scene, as well as by doing most of my covers gigs on ukulele. With this in mind, I ended up investing in a Cocobolo tenor with 2 pickups, and I loved that instrument. Tragically, in July 2018, my beloved Cocobolo was stolen. I'm largely to blame, having left it in my car in Manchester after a wedding gig to get more sleep in preparation for work the next day. The custom, one-of-a-kind instrument was never recovered, and in stepped Matt Warnes of World of Ukes. Matt had seen my issues and seen that I still had gigs in need of playing, and the bugger even offered to lend me a Pete Howlett ukulele to keep me ticking over. I politely declined that one, and I instead chose to bite the bullet on a Pono Pro Classic. Thankfully, Matt still had one in stock and he knew that I was a fan of the line. He removed the listing from his public-facing website, added some discount and installed the MiSi for free before sending me a private listing link. I think it was about £800 or £900, and while it's the biggest investment I'd made into my ukulele playing career, especially at that point, it continues to pay off 7 years later. And that's what I love about this ukulele so much. It's what it represents about people. In my time of need, Matt was there for me. People were there for me. And it was the selflessness of Matt from not wanting to profit on the sale, but instead help an independent musician whose career was on the rise. This ukulele helps remind me of the good in people. To decode Pono's model names that aren't as egregious as, say, a Kala, this is an all-solid ebony tenor ukulele with a cedar top as part of Pono's Pro Classic series. Pono's now discontinued Pro Classic range is their top-of-the-line class of instruments. Such premium appointments include binding on the top and the back, as well as a soundhole rosette and a gloss finish all over. I don't think I've seen ebony used as a bodywood before or since. The neck on this ukulele is perfect for me. It's sort of a deep C profile that fills out my hand beautifully. This ukulele is everything I want. It's never left low G tuning, and I mostly string it with Worth Browns. It's full and warm due to the ebony, while having a great clarity due to the cedar top. Cedar is, in my opinion, a little darker in tone than spruce, but I prefer that as spruce can sometimes be a little bit shrill. This uke has a smooth top end to it without too much sizzle when I'm strumming, but it's perfect for fingerpicking. With its age, it's kind of dulled a little bit. It's not as brilliant as it used to be, and I think I'm okay with that. I've played this ukulele at literally hundreds of gigs. I've taken it to 11 countries. It's played for thousands of people over the years. I replaced the MiSi pickup after that wore out and kind of just the contacts expanded a little bit. And this has got players wear all over it. The most striking one is this huge scratch amongst where my fingers would normally strum, but it's also just got dings everywhere. These battle scars from years of playing and gigging just shows that the ukulele is used and loved like a musical instrument should be. I'm personally of the opinion that musical instruments are tools for making music, and like any other kinds of tools like hammers and nails and screwdrivers, they are worn and they're going to have signs of wear and use, and that's exactly what I have with this. I don't really get too sentimentally attached to instruments because I view them as tools. I don't name my instruments in the same way that I don't name my kettle or my toaster. Like, they're just objects. But this has been through some shit with me. Sonically, this ukulele's taken a bit of a beating over the years. It can be a little bit buzzy. The intonation can be inconsistent. Honestly, I think I need to give this uke a bit of a rework in the sense of a new saddle, maybe a compensated one, maybe a new nut. I need to take it to a luthier who can give it a proper cuddle. But this ukulele is my favourite. It's my go-to. It sounds wonderful, plays great, and it's been there for me for years. I know you shouldn't get attached to instruments because they're just tools for making music, but this one has such a sentimental value to me that it's the one ukulele I will never sell. I'm never going to sell this partially because of all the wear that we've got and how it has no resale value as a result of this wear unless I was to hit some sort of superstardom, and then it would gain the value of like a collector's item, like a Willie Nelson's trigger or something. But even then, I'm never going to sell this ukulele because it means so much to me. It came to me in my hour of need from people and their kindness and their support of a musician on the rise, and that means a lot to me. It reminds me of the goodness in people, the joy of music and supporting each other, and I love the fact that I've taken this everywhere with me, to my holidays, to my festival appearances, and everywhere in between. It is my favourite ukulele. My name's Marc Gallagher. This has been episode 1 of Gear Profile. Let me know if you like this video and are interested in seeing more videos like it, looking at my other instruments at a more in-depth individual look. Follow me on your social media of choice at Marc Gallagher Music, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Like this video if you want, share if you feel compelled to, follow me on places. I'll see you down the road.